Premier David Eby announced today a major reversal on BC's carbon tax, saying if Ottawa would allow provinces to scrap the tax, then British Columbia would now choose to eliminate it. For more, let's bring in Rob Shaw at the BC Legislature. Rob, this is quite a reversal from a government that has been defending the carbon tax for months now.
Well, that's right, Stacey. Premier Eby kind of dropping this bombshell policy change today after months of saying BC's carbon tax was affordable due to government rebates and months of saying that even if all the other provinces in the federal government abandoned this pollution reduction measure, BC would hold strong. Now he says if given the choice, he would eliminate the carbon tax. Eby making the announcement out of nowhere today, standing with Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew, who months ago said his province is going to find a different way to fight pollution other than the carbon tax as well. Eby today saying the scheduled increases are unaffordable, though he has spent most of this year arguing otherwise. He's also blaming Ottawa for making a mess on the carbon tax by exempting certain types of fuels in certain provinces, but there is also the issue of incredible political pressure on him from the BC and federal Conservatives, both running Axe the Tax campaigns and surging in the polls on the idea of giving people a break at the pump and on home heating fuel. Eby today saying he would keep an emissions-based tax for industrial polluters, but the consumer carbon tax would go if Ottawa would allow it.
We've had a consensus in British Columbia on an effective carbon tax for about a generation now. And I've watched as a series of decisions from the federal government, including unsustainable hikes in the amount of money that people have to pay, exempting certain provinces and products, and treating different provinces differently, has really politicized the issue and made it difficult for British Columbians. And so we're recognizing two things. One is where British Columbians are at, that they need the support right now. And the second, that climate change is real. We need to continue to take action on that.
He's been arguing for a year and a half, 2 years now, that the carbon tax was necessary, that was the right thing to do. And suddenly now he flip-flops on that. And quite frankly, my question is he flip-flopping just because of politics and he'll flip-flop again after the election? It's clear in my mind, that this is hurting people. This is hurting people in this province and affordability, and it does need to go, which is why we've been very clear with our position right from the beginning.
He is what appears to be making policy on the fly and abandoning what is essential policy for bad politics. We need to have a price on carbon pollution.
As former BC Green leader Andrew Weaver, a longtime proponent of the carbon tax, who helped the NDP under John Horgan craft its environmental plan, to say he's now endorsing the BC Conservatives, even though they actually are calling for the carbon tax to be scrapped as well. Stacey, so if your head is spinning from all of that, you are not alone as the parties try to realign themselves on this carbon tax issue out of nowhere with the pivot from the NDP today. Just a few months ago, David Eby said that when Pierre Poilievre wrote him a letter asking him to scrap the carbon tax, that Poilievre lived in a baloney factory. But it turns out, I guess, we all live in that baloney factory because all the parties now have pretty much the same position on the carbon tax.
Well, I look forward to seeing what cuts the meter coming next week, Rob. Thanks so much for the latest.